8. There's Luca de Grassi leaves the pit lane for what will be the penultimate time in this race. He will still need to take on one more service before he will reach the checkered flag. An hour and a half, and that's do about 45 minutes on a stint of fuel, Martin.
And of course, Chris Hebert from Toyota, or formerly from Toyota, but by this stage, the back timing from the checkered flag, where you run dry a lap afterwards, plus your 2 litres or whatever you need to be measured, that's been going on for several hours, and you're trying to anticipate what might happen if safety cars come in. So now the cars will know full fuel this time and however many litres to make it to the line, correct?
Absolutely. So each of the teams will have strategy software running, which will look at the live fuel consumption they're doing, know how many laps they're going to do on a stint, start recalculating as soon as the safety car comes out. When the safety car comes out, go to this engine mode, do this, do that, save all the fuel you can, change the harvesting strategy on your hybrid system and all the rest of it, such that when you go green again, you know exactly how many more laps you can do, and your software is recalculated all the way to the end of the 24 hours. I guess a bit like a weather forecast, you've got a pretty good idea a long way out what might happen, and as you get closer to the end, you have a better and better, more accurate forecast of what you can do to the end of the race.
Well, listen, we're just talking as the number 7 Audi comes in from 3rd place into the pit lane. 8 has just left, Lucas de Grassi. This is Ben Trellier, of course, last year's winners, 3-time winning team. He and Andre Lotterer and Marcel Fassler. We're talking yesterday about, I've completely lost my train there because I heard Neville talking off mic. Okay, about safety cars. If you're in a queue behind a safety car, in a hybrid car, with anything else it doesn't matter so much. That's a bit mucky, isn't it? Lots of nasty old gaffer. If you're in a queue behind a safety car and you're released partway around the lap, you have saved a little bit of fuel and a little bit of hybrid energy.
Yeah.
Now, we know you can't use more than a maximum amount per lap, but you don't have to use it evenly throughout the lap. So if your safety car pulls in and you are free to go green at the start line, okay, no advantage at all. If your safety car pulls in at the first chicane, you've got a third of a lap, little bit extra bit of juice, you might be able to get in an extra pass. But if you're in the safety car queue where they pull in at Arnage, you've got 3/4 of a lap of distance where you've not boosted and you've got the extra fuel. You've got a third of a lap where you can go hell for leather before it comes back to normal. Does that
as long as you don't go with the fuel flow rate?
As long as you don't go with that.
Yes.
But then your software will make sure you don't. If you're really
Correct.
deathing it, it'll still cruise and coast you into the forward chicane.
And going back to what you're talking about with hybrid systems, you're talking about you don't use it evenly around the lap. Absolutely, don't even use it evenly down a single straight. You come out the corners, you drop all the hybrid energy you can to get you up to speed as fast as possible, as soon as you can, and then at the end you do the absolute polar opposite, which is you lift off the throttle, you coast into the corner, and all of this is also worked out by the simulation software. We do simulations for aerodynamics, we do simulations for hybrid systems, and we look if we can put energy and power down at any point in the circuit, where will it give us maximum benefit?
There is more drizzle in turn 7, more drizzle in turn 7.
Nothing on our windows here at the pit lane, but that would be sector 35. Now, I'm not sure what turn 7 is compared to sector 7, but it's certainly not that far around the lap. Battle for second place is now very definitely on. 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go, 6.5 seconds. It's now down to 6.5 car lengths as Ollie Turvey reels in Sam Bird. 2 very aggressive young chargers battling for second place. Gustavo Jacquemin is 3 laps further back, so it is about these 2 guys. So using a hybrid is like power boating. You get up on the plane as quickly as possible, or in your terms, you get to maximum speed so that the aerodynamics work at their most efficient, or their least efficient, because you're trying not to create drag. So you want to get that power in first, get the acceleration phase done, and get to VMAX as quickly as possible. And then you can allow it to cruise and save a little bit of energy as you come down to the line. Now, looks like Giancarlo Fisichella may be ready to go back out. Not sure if he's going to go back out. Tony Vielander or whoever. Vielander brought the car in. Transponder says he should be still on board. It's dropped down to 3rd place and 1 lap in hand over the Dane train. Christopher Nygaard in the 95 Aston Martin. Well, that was at the line last time round. Depends where Nygaard is on the lap, and he is in...
Coming up towards the end of the lap. Oh, he's in the pits.
Oh, Wielander's still in the pits.
Between sectors 1 and 2, beg your pardon.
So he's completed sector 1. He's halfway down the straight in front of this battle somewhere. Turvey has got the run on Bird. This is for second place in the LMP2 class, and Jota take the pass, and through he goes, and Birdie is out of tyres. Look at the car moving around there from apex to exit. He's trying to chase the throttle. He's got a Rebellion behind that started red and is now kind of grandma's patchwork quilt of spare bits and bobs. But Sam Bird had no tyre left there to defend against Oliver Turvey, and maybe that's slightly different pit stop strategies. Maybe Turvey has just got a fresher set of tyres. You often say you don't want to give up track position for 4 new tyres, but in this case, if that's what they've done a stop or 2 ago, then it seems to have really paid off. Wielander's car is back out on the pit apron. They are desperate now to try and cling on to this podium spot. It's a high drama. We've got an hour and 25 minutes still to go. This is insane stuff, as it has been from the start.
Clearly a major problem then for that number 51 Ferrari. So, you know, I would say the chances of it of having no more issues towards the end of the race are fairly slim. But it's it comes out at least it comes out of the pit lane with pretty good speed. There's no smoke pouring out of it or anything like that. This is a replay of the car being pushed back into the garage, and that was what about how long ago was that? Almost half an hour ago, that pit stop for the Ferrari, and that's how long it's taken to get that car back out in the fray. So they'll have pulled out all the stops, will this team, and hoping that it can make it to the end of this motor race. Mark Cole back with us, as is Chris Hebert, the aerodynamicist. And Chris, I'm curious, how did you get it? How did you interested in sport start, and how did you get into it? Did you decide you wanted to be? Tell us about how you got into the sport.
So I'd always been a fan of motorsport, probably going back to the 80s and watching Nigel Mansell dicing with Ayrton Senna and exploding tyres in Adelaide and things like that. And I studied maths and physics at school and went on to study aeronautical engineering at the University of Bristol. And then, as many engineers you'll find up and down the pit lane, got a job with Reynard Motorsport. Yes. I mean, they went bust in 2002, and
There's a problem for the Kohler's car. Looks like maybe suspension failure, unless the wheel come loose. Certainly the left rear wheel was well out of kilter on that. As we see now, that is Sam Bird coming onto pit lane. So he's lost second place in P2. Here comes out of the forward chicane Oliver Turvey now up into second place. It's been a really good performance. He'd been whittling away that gap between third place and second place. He's now taken over second place, and deficit to the race leader Nicolas Lapierre, 57 seconds. But sorry, Chris, carry on. I'm curious because I know there's a lot of people out there listening to us and watching on Eurosport who would love to have a career in a sport. It's not quite as easy as it sounds.
No, not super easy. You've got to work hard. You've got to get the grades, and it's a tough business to get into. There's plenty of people, smart kids out there now studying at school, going to university, doing engineering degrees, specialist motorsport courses at places like Oxford Brookes and Cranfield, and you've got to do well, work hard, and many of them are getting all sorts of experience up and down, being weekend warriors for more minor teams.
Watching this pit stop here for Sam Bird. You'll still need one more pit stop. Double yellow zone in zone 30. That is the Porsche curves again. To wait and see what's happening on down there. Sam Bird leaves the pit lane. He's now firmly ensconced in third place in the class, well ahead of Pipo Derani. We're going to take one more short break here on Eurosport.
This is Eurosport. This is the live last 78 minutes of the Le Mans 24 hours. Just watching the 23 Nissan bowing out of the great race. This is behind the Porsche curves, what used to be called Maison Blanche, and it's where the track crosses over the road. I'm Mark Coe, with me Damien Faulkner, and we're rejoining Jeremy Shaw, who really has done a sterling job here. He's up there with the teams doing a whole 24 hours, and Jeremy, one of the best races for many, many, many years, and even with an hour and 18 minutes to go, it's too close to call.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to take a major drama. Oh, wait a minute, we've seen a few major dramas in this race, haven't we? So nothing would surprise me. It's certainly a shame to see that Nissan go out at this stage. That's the 23 car, isn't it? You know, that doesn't look good at all. We've got one car that's still shown as in the pits. The other one's been retired. But even if this is the end of the day with just over an hour and 15 minutes remaining, it's still been a stout effort from these guys. And they came here with the goal. We heard Darren Cox a little while ago saying the main goal was just to pick up experience and learn as much as they can and apply that to what they hope will be the definitive car next year. The car they brought here isn't what they had envisaged. It should have had a lot more power and energy recovery available to it, but that wasn't the case. So they came here in any case, because if you're not here, you can't learn very much. So now they know, have a much better feel for the demands of the racetrack, and the team does as well. Yeah, I don't think anyone is going to say that Nissan wasn't very brave in trying. It's very plucky as well, and I mean, what a great effort. And they've provided all the fun in the paddock this year, and Nissan can laugh. They bring a lot of fun here to Le Mans.
Well, yeah, it's sort of reminiscent of Red Bull coming into Formula 1, isn't it? Really, and look where they have accomplished in the last few years. So I think their aspirations were, I think, to go, not necessarily even to finish, maybe I'm wrong, but to go as long as they could in the 24-hour, because they're way behind in the development. It wasn't planned to come here without the hybrid system, and so they just find themselves in a sort of an awkward situation where they have three cars entered, fully supported factory team, but they're, you know, not on the pace. So and it's very God, I can't believe it. There's 1 hour 15 minutes remaining, probably 1 hour 20 when Jan Mardenborough pulled off there. So that's really unfortunate for them.
Yeah, KCMG then coming into the pits, and this will be Lapierre's. Now, we were wondering if he's going to stay in the car for the final stint, but if I was the team boss, I'd put Richard Bradley in, who has just done this sterling work all weekend, including dominating practice and qualifying. Yeah, it'd be good. Nicolas Lapierre certainly is on a roll right now. He's in the groove. He's done a magnificent job. All the guys have done a magnificent job. This is there'll still be one more pit stop to go though. Yeah. After this. We've got an hour and 15 minutes to go. They can't go that long on a tank of fuel. And they've got enough of a head over Turvey at the moment to be able to afford a driver change. They've got a better part of a minute over everybody else. Yeah. There's no point, you know, if the guy's in a rhythm, if he feels good to go, there's no point in changing drivers, I don't think, at this stage. Even there, nor did they change tyres. The Dunlop man was looking all around the car. Dunlop, of course, providing the majority of tyres in this category. Dunlop have been coming here since 1923. So Hulkenberg, Hartley still leading for Porsche. Can we start to even believe there might be a Porsche 1-2? No, we can't, because we know from past experience anything can happen in the last 5 minutes, yet alone the last hour and 14 minutes.
Absolutely, even on the last lap, you know, you have to get to the checkered flag here. That's the rule. So yeah, it's there's going to be a few nail-biting moments down there now in the number 19 garage for Porsche. Hulkenberg at the wheel. So there you go. So there's the answer. We were discussing this earlier, actually. Who are they going to put in at the end? Yep. It's actually Hulkenberg. So what a story that would be. Well, current Formula 1 driver.
Again, if you want to grab headlines, yep. If it's not.
Raindrops at zone 16. Raindrops at zone 16.
That's quite late, Damien, because you and I were just standing outside our cabin 5 minutes ago, and we had raindrops then. So I can't imagine that wasn't elsewhere too. But
yeah, and that was a race director as well. I mean, we've seen numerous tweets here and there saying raindrops here and there and everywhere, but it's just
Just random drops, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's
humidity in the air.
Refusing to rain, thankfully. But I'll tell you what, it could throw a little bit of a further curveball into this.
Well, if Lena Gate says it's going to rain before the end of the race, then it's going to rain.
Oh, well, then it's going to rain.
Yeah.
Did she say that?
She's generally right, isn't she?
Yeah.
But the clouds certainly look pretty high here. I would have thought, and but there are, there's different coloured clouds around. Certainly some.
Well, the rain is falling
activity.
telling us that there was some rain at zone 20, which is the Mulsanne, which is as far as you can get away from.
And of course, this is probably the worst time in the race for rain to fall. Not just because everybody is sort of really, really tired, because this is the second day of this huge event. This one race that's still going since 3 o'clock yesterday, but also it's at its most rubbered in point now. There's more rubber on this track on the racing line than ever before, so it'll make it really, really slippy if it starts to rain. There's a great onboard shot of Ollie coming in for a pit stop.
Yeah,
staying on board.
This is
he'll be there till the end then.
Yeah, yes, because he will actually need one more stop before
splash
the
and dash, wouldn't
of
there?
the race. Yeah,
Yeah.
a splash and dash. That's exactly right. They can run just about exactly an hour, and we've got an hour and 12 minutes remaining in this race.
They're doing tyres now for safety, and just that fuel right at the end. So really, this race has come back gradually to Corvette. First time since 2011 that they have a good chance of winning.
Yeah, and I mean, who saw this coming? I don't want to speak too soon, there's still an hour and 12 minutes to go, but who saw this coming the other night when Magnussen was in the wall? The other car was parked because it was a mechanical failure. So both cars were not in that session, or most of it. And it didn't look good, did it?
Yeah, I guess not. But looking underneath the surface, I felt that they were going to be strong here. When I arrived here in France, I thought this team is going to be strong. They've learned an awful lot last year about what the C7R needs here at the Circuit de la Sarthe, and they've put that knowledge from last year to really, really good effect. They came here, I think, quietly optimistic might be the best way to put it, and they were quick in the first couple of sessions. I think it was second quick on Friday in practice and or qualifying, or second or third anyhow, and they were certainly, one of the cars was right in the mix. Yeah, they had a big setback on Thursday with a crash for Jan Magnussen, and then sat out most of the final session while they figured out what had happened, and making sure that, as sure as they could, that there was going to be no recurrence. So I think really the car didn't show exactly what it had in qualifying ultimately, but they've done all their homework. They know what it takes to win here, and they know what this car needs now, which they really didn't know last year. They were surprised last year. They thought they were going to come here with a super competitive package. It was competitive, but it wasn't ultimately quite good enough.
And look at those stands, absolutely packed. A complete sellout this year, and remember, these people, they started sitting in these stands 23 hours ago. They're coming back in Fillingham, having enjoyed all the fun of Le Mans, and they're watching this man, Nico Hülkenberg, who to many is a hero. He's a current Grand Prix driver, leading for Porsche, and Porsche have not had a win since 1995. They've had 16 outright victories among 102 class victories in 64 participations.
Wow, phenomenal record, isn't it?
But let's not call it until the fat lady sings, whoever she is, wherever she is. We're going for another break. We are getting spots of rain on the helicopter. Let's see how it is when we come back. Back at Le Mans, we're just coming up to the final hour, 23 almost behind us. We're just watching a pit stop there. Romain Dumas handing over the third of the Porsches, the black one, to Neil Jani, we believe. We'll just get that confirmed in a moment. This car currently running in 5th place. This is the Porsche that's had the bad luck, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the pole sitter, wasn't it? Neil Jani. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what lap times he wants to do.
This is Tommy Milner in the pits.
Tommy Milner, you guys have finally got that little bit of breathing space that you wanted after the problems with the 51 car. Has Ollie just backed off it a little bit to bring it home?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, our strategy has changed quite a bit in the last hour or so. We were the ones chasing, and now we're quite a few laps ahead, and now just kind of protect the lead that we have. Obviously, you don't want to change too much about what you do in the car and your procedures, because that's when you make mistakes. So Oliver's still pushing a little bit, but definitely being careful with the car. So yeah, for us, I think we have one more pit stop left. We can't quite go to the end, so just top up in fuel. But as for us now, it's just fingers crossed.
Well, this team so deserves some good luck, especially this weekend. I bet you guys are just willing that checkered flag to get here a bit faster.
Yeah, certainly. This last hour has gone by very slowly, but I can't say enough for this whole Corvette racing team. All the guys on the 63 car, all the Dan Binks, the crew chief, you know, all the drivers are still here. All the guys are still here helping us however they can. You know, we are one team for sure, and it showed today.
Thanks so much. We're cheering for you.
Thanks, Tommy Milner, and Liz Halliday looking as fresh as a daisy. She always does, doesn't she? You wouldn't think she'd been up for 24 hours. Right, during the interview, we saw Tracy Crone again in the wars and involved with one of the P2 cars. Now, I talked to Barbara Burns, who looks after the Crone team, a little while ago, and I just asked what's happening with Tracy. She said they've had all these electrical problems. They lost an hour in the pit because of electrical problems, and basically that's affecting traction control.
Yeah.
It's on and off at various times, and that's catching Tracy out. Caught Nick Johnson out as well at one stage, as we saw last night, but Tracy seems to have got the lion's share of the problem.
Yeah, well, they don't have traction control for no reason, of course, and when it doesn't work, it makes it really, really difficult to drive. Yeah, I actually got a tweet about that earlier, so those are the problems that they're trying to manage, which is not easy, but he's only got an hour and 4 minutes now to keep it pointing in the right direction. Yeah, I said to Barbara, you know, that's it, that's the straight story, is it? And she said, yeah. Actually, there you go, he's got a puncture now, so well, he needs to take it really easy, because if that delaminates... I didn't catch that. Perhaps you did, Damien. That was rain in 40 minutes, right, to the that was to Neil Jani there. Yeah, so their Porsche's agreeing with Lena Gates' BTO then. Yeah, well, obviously Lena said she wanted rain, so she wanted rain, yeah.
Tracy Crone had that latest spin here at the Ford chicane right in front of us, and unfortunately wasn't able, if he had the puncture there, either he didn't know about it, or he wasn't able to get it across and into the pit lane, because he's now got to go the whole way around. Well, there was a contact, wasn't there? Yes, absolutely. With the blue LMP2 car. Like it. Yeah. As you say, Open Tung at the wheel of the number 29 car. Yeah. As you say, probably gone past the. Well, he couldn't have done much about it anyway, because he couldn't get from the pits from there. So as you say, he was right in front of us over here. A whole lap, yeah. Yeah, he's just got to hope that tyre doesn't sort of laminate really, and to the point where it starts slapping the bodywork around and breaking it. Really slowly, it is just coming out onto the Mulsanne, and that's where it went, doesn't it? Yeah. But slow is key, Jeremy. You're right. Absolutely slow. But it's very frightening, particularly when you've got to come up to the Porsche curves here, and that's, you know, when you've got one tyre hanging off. Or hanging on, if you like. Yeah. That's not a very comfortable feeling, I would imagine, going through Porsche curves. And he's got a lot of condition. Yeah, he's got a lot of ground to cover before he even gets there. So I'd stay well off the racing line if I were you, Tracy.
Well, of course, nowhere in the standings. They've had all sorts of problems, and as Barbara said, they lost that hour in the pits yesterday, going through all the electrics, trying to sort out the problems. Here's Nick Manassian, another very quick man. Of course, many of you in Britain will remember him from running in British Formula 3. Learned much of his craft there. Seen most of it. Man, you know well.
Yeah, I think he went to Formula 3000 before he actually ended up in, I think it was Champ Car, wasn't it, with Chip Ganassi for a year or two?
No.
Was it IndyCar? Nick Manassian.
Oh, Nick Manassian.
Yeah. Alongside.
Yeah, he raced there. Yeah.
Yeah, he raced there. I think it was for. It was with Bruno Junqueira.
Yeah.
So that was just a shot of the radar. So this is going to throw a spanner in the works, isn't it? So you've got Hulkenberg there, probably praying for no rain. You've got Hartley behind, probably praying for, and everybody behind in the P1s praying for rain, except Hulkenberg. He'll just want a clean run to the end.
Yeah, Nick Manassian, we're just talking about, of course, he had that second place overall for Peugeot in 2008, and then 3 years later was third, and then that was before Peugeot, having fought hard with Jean Todt to get this called a World Championship, then pulled the plug and decided the world economy had taken a dive, and did exactly what Viper did in the States, and quit before the bottom fell out of the market. So here's the 47 car then. Nick Lapierre still on board, and I think we've agreed here in the cabin that they probably keep him on board because he's now settled into the car. He's normally a safe pair of hands. I know we had a little off earlier, and Damon's looking a bit squinty there. Okay.
I just don't. Yeah, I mean, he just has to keep it clean. He just has to, realise absolutely no risks. Damage limitation. Obviously, they're leading. They've got everything to lose. So just zero risks. And obviously, if it rains, that will make it obviously more difficult and much more of a lottery, because it'll be so slippy, and you'll see cars like moving around trying to get grip. And if that rain comes, which it's due, so there could be a fairly interesting last 25 minutes of this race.
Well, that's the whole point, Jeremy. It'll be the last 25 minutes of the race.
Yeah, we've got almost, here we go, exactly 1 hour to go in a 24 Hours of Le Mans, the 83rd running of this classic endurance event. We're watching on screen the number 47 KCMG Oreca Nissan, new car for this year, the coupe version, and Nicolas Lapierre leading the class, as this car has done pretty much all the way through. Just lost the lead very briefly in the very early stages. Since then it's been a dominant force, but there's been other cars that have been awfully close to it, on and off throughout the entire event, and we've still got 3 cars now on the same lap going into the final hour in P2. So it certainly isn't done and dusted, and Nicolas Lapierre has they've all got to make one more pit stop, the 3 contenders in P2, as is just about everybody in the field, in actual fact.
We just saw the Ibanez Racing Oreca stopping there. Jose Ibanez, car owner, handing the car over. Not sure if it's to Pierre Perret or Ivan Belarus. We'll find out in a moment. But Tracy Krohn doing a good job getting that car back. He's doing it safely, Damien, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the key, just to be really slow. And it looks like it's just going to sort of hang on in there. He wants to be very careful, as you say, going through the Porsche curves. Not sure exactly where he was there, but it's just like a funnel, so he's going really slow. There'll probably be like 110 miles an hour difference,
Massive crowd, as we saw. We just saw a couple of American flags flying in the crowd. We know who they're supporting, don't we? We're going to take a break and see if their dream comes true.
Yeah, I know.
Back with Eurosport, 55 minutes left of the race. Just seeing some of the, what are going to be final driver changes or fueling stops or tyre changes, perhaps with the exception of a couple of cars like the Corvette, which is leading GT Pro, which we know is going to have to do a splash and dash with Ollie Gavin in board. Just having a replay here of the number 7 car, the Trullier car, going very, very wide, and too much power too quickly perhaps, or does that mean that rain is starting to arrive, Damien, down at
I don't know, just had a little slide there, a little bit of opposite lock and well caught, nothing too much, but it's unusual to see them doing that really, because they've got incredible traction, an incredible amount of grip all around. But just had a shout out to a Twitter follower here, James Rowe, to say 25 years ago Nissan had 2 factory cars on the front row with fellow Irishman Michael Rowe, presume that's dad, is it? That father, behind the wheel of one, 1990. Yep. So
quite right. And I'm going to correct myself.
Darren Cox will love that.
I'm going to give you a correction. Sally Griffiths has kindly tweeted me through Kate Griffiths, yeah, pointing out, of course, it wasn't 95 the last win, it was 98 for Porsche when McNish, Aiello and Ortelli took the 911 GT, won to that win, and second also teammates Muller, Altson and the much loved Bob Wallach. So sorry about that. I was thinking prototypes, of course, and then they did win the great race outright with the GT1 car. So back to business. Hulkenberg and Hartley still lead, and that lead is 1 lap apart respectively, and they've got 2 and 1 laps respectively over Benoit Trullier.
And you saw a slow lap for Brendan Hartley there. He just got overtaken there by Trullier. Was it? I think it was Trullier. Was it? Or was it number 8, Grassi? Yeah, just 3 minutes 28.
Unlapping himself
on that lap compared to Hulkenberg, who's in the lead. He's not backing off too much at 3 minute 20.463. So everything seems to be hunky-dory in the 19.
Hunky-dory. Yeah, this is the number 17 car of Hartley. That's running in the colours of the 1979-17 that won Le Mans here. That was Porsche's first outright win, and Richard Atwood is here this weekend as a guest of Porsche to celebrate that. He and Hans Hermann taking that to a very famous win, the first of the 917 string of successes. And interestingly, a Gulf 917 never won Le Mans. No. Well, it did once in a film.
Yeah, that's right.
But never won in real time.
No, and Damien, you just talked about Nico Hulkenberg there. Yeah, Hulky-dory, is that what you're saying?
No, I said hunky-dory.
Oh, I thought Hulky-dory.
Nothing to do with...
anyhow, you thought he was getting a little bit slower on that last lap. I mean, I wonder, he's probably, I would have thought, trying to stretch the fuel load, you don't want to make sure you don't run out, but he made it.
That was Brendan Hartley now I was talking about, that went slower, who had done it just at
was it Brendan? Okay.
3:28, but he was caught up in a lot of traffic because he's just done a 3 minute 23.
That message is history. That message is history. He says, just let the Audi go. And they're talking about, of course, De Grassi unlapping himself. And you could see on that shot the Audi had already gone way past him.
Yeah, true. And you know what? If it doesn't matter, just let it go. They don't want to get involved in anything.
It's getting very slippy and slidey down there, isn't it, Mulsanne? There is some moisture on the track, but what a great trio of slippy sliders.
So many times we've seen that happen on the exit of corners where there's a GT car, a P2 car and a P1 car behind, and the P2 car is looking to overtake the GT, and of course the P1's looking to overtake both of them, and they end up 3 wide, but there's really only 2 lanes, so the P1 typically has to go kind of off the road a little bit, and it's a little bit of risk because you...
So the Incredible Hulk being called in at the end of this lap.
I doubt they're going to be able to go stretch that fuel load to where are they on the lap here? Coming down the Mulsanne, so minute and a half to go. That'll be about 50 minutes remaining in the race when he comes into pit lane. 49 minutes by the time he's made it to pit, so it's going to be awfully close as to whether or not he's going to need another splash to get to the end. I'm surprised he hasn't cut his pace a little bit more and just run a whole bunch of slow laps and try and get that extra lap each time and give himself a bit more of a cushion in order just to make the one more pit stop before the end of the race.
Probably they probably don't care maybe about making 2 because the second one will be really short.
Yeah.
And also the longer he keeps the distance to the car behind, which is a lap behind,
which is his teammate,
in case there's a yellow or something like that,
which is his teammate,
which is his teammate. But I mean, you know, they want to win, don't they?
Yeah, there won't be any. I don't think there'll be any team orders that would, you know, change the position. I'll be very, very surprised if there's anything to change the order. I mean, I think the order's pretty much set now.
Yeah, absolutely.
19 cars deserve the win, and you know, even if whatever happens, and you know, I don't think they'll be allowed to race to the finish. Let me put it that way. Because I wouldn't think that would be the smartest thing.
No.
So,
but I'm not suggesting they're racing. I'm suggesting that they're keeping the distance in case something untoward happens.
Yeah.
And keep that distance for as long as possible, or as close to the checkered flag as possible. And then if they have to pit at the end for a splash and dash, it's going to be a lot shorter of a pit stop because they'll need less fuel.
So Mike Conway just bringing in the number 2 Toyota out of 6th place. Presumably he'll stay on board with just 49 minutes left. In comes the number 8 Audi as well. Luca Di Grassi following him in. Hulkenberg's already sitting there. We're not seeing it on his screens at the moment, but they keep coming past our window. So as these pit stops cycle out, will they be for the last time, or will they all need splash and dashes? We'll find out. We're taking it. We return another moment of high drama here at Le Mans. Paul Dalla Lana, the man from Vancouver, in the car that has been leading GTM, the Gulf Aston Martin, from very early on in the race, starting from pole position, which is put there by Pedro Lamy, has had a massive off. Would you believe, under the Porsche Experience Centre that has just been built at Le Mans as he was coming out of the Ford chicane. And Damien, this is not a place you normally see people have an accident. Did the throttle jam?
Yeah, it looks pretty ominous. I don't know what. It was a bit weird. Didn't really. He turned left into that first part of the Ford chicane and just didn't really take the next right. That's awful news. That's the class leader. That's been the GTE class leader all week.
Yeah, and
that's been the master of that class.
That's going nowhere. The front wheel's been punched into the monocoque, hasn't it? On the left-hand side, it's got a back wheel hanging off at an angle as well. And oh dear.
Yeah, that I don't know what's wrong. It's really hard to call. But that's.
These guys have been here since the race started for 23 hours and 15 minutes.
And it's game over.
Car's been leading.
In 1 second, it's over.
On the other side of the track, ironically, to the place that Goethe had his accident in the Gulf Aston Martin this morning. So this was going all so well for Aston Martin in GT-AM.
That's a shame.
We've got a yellow flag.
We are going to build a slow zone before start-finish straight. We're going to build a slow zone before start-finish straight.
It's Eduardo Freitas, the race director, who's been so on the ball all weekend, and they came up with the idea of these slow zones for the World Endurance Championship races. They tried them at Silverstone and at Spa, and then put them into practice at Le Mans. It saves having a safety car, 3 safety cars as it happens here at Le Mans, because it's a 13.6 kilometre track, and that means that the cars are restricted to 80 kilometres an hour by electronically through that zone. Fortunately, Damon, it is one of the slower parts of the course, and
well, it
much easier to control.
But it's just another sort of curveball thrown into the mix for all of these people, none less than Nico Hülkenberg. 1 foot of a mile an hour over that 80 kilometres on the wrong side of that line, and there could be a penalty. So it just goes to show you, there's so many challenges in this epic race.
They are clearing it up quickly. Whether they want to pay any attention to the tyre wall remains to be seen, but this could play into Hülkenberg's hands and Hartley's hands. They could avoid another fuel stop.
That's right, we've just talked about that. They seem to be very close. Maybe this is what they need. However, I don't know that the slow zone will be long enough for them to. It's not like the safety cars out where they're saving a hell of a lot of fuel per lap. They're still racing for probably 9/10 of the lap, if you like. Well, it's just this slow zone.
Ferrari have virtually lost GT Pro, but they look like they're now going to win GT-AM, because it's the SMP Racing Russian Bears, Ferrari 458 of Andrea Bertolini, Victor Scheitar and Alexei Basov, and it's Scheitar who's on board that car at the moment. He will be moving onto the lead lap in any moment now, taking Marco Siegfried with him for Porsche and Jeff Seagal for Ferrari to complete the podium. But what a disaster. Jeremy just rejoining us, and I don't know if you're aware, Jeremy, but we just lost the race-leading Aston Martin in GT-AM, an enormous accident for Paul Dall'Anna opposite us at the first of the Ford chicanes. Let's have a look at it. Here it comes again. No, they're just showing the...
Yeah, of course, that's elevated everybody behind up. Patrick Dempsey there. He's now going to move up to 2nd place. Marcus Seifried at the wheel of that car. Jeff Seagal will go into 3rd place. And in that Ferrari that we saw, that epic battle, there's Paul Dall'Anna.
Paul happily unhurt, and look, he's more upset about it, isn't it?
Well, he'll have a hurt ego.
Yeah.
And who knows what has happened. Maybe mechanical failure has contributed to that. We don't know. So he's turned left. Here he is. He's gone over the apex. He should be turning right now, and he doesn't. He just goes straight. It's really weird.
Particularly at this stage of the race.
Yeah, with 45 minutes to go, it's just, and you could just see the body language of those of that Aston Martin crew. You know, if there was a winner, that we needed to pick out of any of the classes, it was that one, because it was the leader of the field for the whole week.
Pedro put it on pole.
Pedro put it on pole. He had chicken pox. He drove a stellar race, and here we have it.
Gave Matthias Lauda his baptism at Le Mans, something his father Nicky never did, never ever came here. But Paul, very experienced too, he's been here 3 times, and he's basically the entrant of that car under Gulf colours through Aston Martin Racing.
This race has been so cruel to Aston Martin Racing.
It has. It's either the beauty or the beast, isn't it? This event.
So even as we go into the final 40 minutes, you know, we're still having high dramas, losing class leaders, big accidents. And then comes the number 8 car, Luca Di Grassi. Tyre change, obviously just for safety. get that car to the end. Now, if the rain should come, they're just putting fresh slicks on. They're going to have another stop, aren't they? But I guess, Jeremy, they feel they've got to the end of their life-phase tyres.
Yep, and when that happens, you don't have much choice.
Well, that car is absolutely wrecked at the front end. Another Aston Martin consigned to the dustbin of history. And we're going to take a break while we're under the yellow flag. .37 minutes to go. The Aston Martin of Paul Dell'Alana that was not only leading GTM but was second at GT overall, crashing out after that car had completed something like 320 laps with just, as we say, 40 minutes remaining in the race. Lack of concentration, or perhaps, Damien, we're hearing, might have been a driver error?
Well, there was a driver driving it, but it's kind of almost unfair of me to speculate. You just don't know, do you? The throttle could have stuck open. Any number of things could have happened. Certainly something happened. That's not the proper line around there, and it's put them out of the race. And that's it's really unfortunate for them. Right under the noses of the Porsche Experience Centre here.
Yeah, very strange looking incident. I mean, it just sort of took off straight. One got to think there's been some sort of mechanical problem on that car. It didn't look like a driver error to me.
Well, even if there was a throttle stuck open, it could have turned right, but it didn't. From our vantage point here, quickly. Well, it was going pretty quickly, but he just turned left and then kept turning left.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what I mean, there's very little sort of runoff there because, as Mark, as you rightly said, there's not many. It's not really a place that there's a lot of action at, you know.
That's Ollie Turvey in the second place. Yota Racing, Gibson in P2 rejoining the race after what will certainly be his final stop. Nick Lapierre ahead of him, probably won't have to stop again, and the gap at the moment between those two, will he? Right, yeah. The gap is 66 seconds between those two. Sam Bird in a safe third, and Sam, as we said, even at 6 o'clock this morning, seems to have been in that car most of the race. Julian Canal popping up a couple of times, but there is Sam.
The letters of his second name are burned into the back of that screen there.
So it will change in GTM, as we said. Victor Scheitar for Ferrari coming up with in the Russian Bears Ferrari, and in second place now it's the Marco Siegfried Porsche, the Dempsey Racing car. So Patrick Dempsey came to Le Mans saying, I'd love to have a podium. At the moment, he's finding himself second place in the category.
Yeah, exactly. And as luck would have it, look, there's a P2 car right in front, so it means that their pit box is not, he's not free to drive straight out, and the mechanics have had to push the car back. They're not much of a hurry there. They're just getting some good old gaffer tape and sticking something down there just to make sure.
Well, they are a lap ahead, aren't they, of
so I think Patrick's
the closest car, which would be Jeff Siegel.
Yeah, Patrick's complaining of Marco's complaining of the window, which is like a perspex sheet. It's not glass. It's obviously coming loose. I think it's laminated or riveted or glued onto that to the sort of frame of the door, which is carbon fiber, and it seems to be coming loose. So the last thing the last thing they want is that blowing out. Can you imagine how slow they'd be in the straight line then, with all the straights around here? So that's his final pit stop.
Yeah,
and off he goes.
Let's see if they've picked up with that window flapping in the breeze. No, not cancelling there. Pat Dempsey.
To add insult to injury for Crone Racing, the speeding in the pit lane penalty, stop and go. 1 minute stop and go for Tracy Crone. Yikes.
And it's hugs all round from Dr. Dreamy for the Porsche guys who've done so much.
33 minutes to go in the race.
Yeah, and I think he thinks it's all over already. We know it's not.
Yeah, not over to the fat lady sings, as you say, Mark, whoever she is. But just looking across at that Porsche Experience Centre of Le Mans, which is, I think, a new building, and all the guests they have, the fingernails are getting shorter, I can tell you, on the handrail off that balcony.
Yeah, it's based on the one at Nürburgring and the one at Silverstone, of course. Just done it bigger and better here, and they've got their own track back there now. They use part of the where we are here, and you come and pay your money and you drive for the day, or you buy a new Porsche and you get the experience.
Brilliant. I think one of those just opened in California actually as well.
It's about to.
It's about to, is it?
It's sort of in the process of, yeah. Parts of it might be finished.
Well, they brought it forward a bit because they were talking about at 240, they're now talking about 230. So okay, it's a little bit academic, but it's going to make a big difference to all these guys if they have 30 minutes of rain rather than 20 minutes.
Yeah, and of course we don't know yet from our vantage point or our information. We don't know what sort of rain it's going to be. It's going to be wet, of course, but we don't know how wet. So we don't know whether it'll be just a little sprinkle, in which case they probably won't have to pit, or whether it's going to be an absolute downpour.
But we've got no black clouds or thunderheads. It's just rather a sort of looming sky, isn't it? And in comes the 17 car, Brendan Hartley, bring it into the pits
for its final pit stop.
That'll be a splash and dash, Jeremy.
Indeed it will.
Must seem such a long way, Damien, when you're at the wheel of a car coming down at 60 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but then, of course, you're looking out for your pit as well, because the last thing you want to do is drive past it, especially in this place.
Yeah, but I mean, you've just been doing 200 and something down the straight, suddenly 60 kilometres an hour, and you're thinking, well, get out and walk beside the car.
Yeah, of course. But of course, there's lots of people standing around.
No. I was just trying to think of it from the driver's perspective, but
it's a bit like you know, having a race and then driving away in your road car under normal road conditions and road rules. You know, you just adapt to it and you don't even think about it.
I seem to remember my race car. My road cars tended to be a bit quicker, but. So Brendan Hartley, a solid second place at the moment with just 30 minutes of racing left. So we've only got 1/48th of the race left to go.
And the leader in LMP2 has just made his final pit stop. Nicolas Lapierre brought the car into the pits. It will indeed be Richard Bradley who will drive this car home to the finish, the final 30 minutes now of this motor race.
Yeah, Richard, of course, embedded with the team, the Hong Kong team, and Nick Lapierre, very much the pay driver here, the pro they brought in to help out, done a fantastic job. But Richard has really been one of the stars.
That's an all
24 hours.
An all British podium there at the moment you're looking at.
That's brilliant. Well, nearly British. Richard's actually Singapore, isn't he? But was he not born in Singapore?
Might have been born in Singapore, but certainly English.
Well, he's got the British flag on his helmet, certainly. Thank you, Seb. Yeah, you're right. Bradley, Turvey and Bird. How good is that?
Just riding on board now in the number